Tipp FM's Tip Today.
With Slattery's Garage, Puck On. Over half a century driving the people of Tipperary and surrounding areas with quality, reliable and economical vehicles, new and used. Call the sales team today to discuss your next car or van on 067 24 111.
Thanks, Pat. Welcome back to the final hour of Tip Today. Let me just bring you some of your text and WhatsApp. Listen around to say the most astonishing situation is that there are actually people who would disagree with having a Department of Government efficiency. And another astonishing situation is that people will vote the same again at the next election. And that's making reference to my conversation with Dave just before the news there. Barb was on to say, I'm contacting you, Fran, to express my deep concern regarding the current eligibility criteria for the fuel allowance, which is having a serious impact on family carers like myself. Despite the financial strain carers are under and cannot qualify for the fuel allowance, as a result, carers are struggling daily to keep their homes heated and lit while also covering essential transport costs to care for our vulnerable people. The current system does not reflect the reality of our circumstances, and families like ours are falling through the cracks. I would ask you to raise the issue with government TDs to advocate for a review of the eligibility rules so that family carers and vulnerable households are not unfairly excluded from vital supports. Thank you, says Barb to us today. Now, we started off the programme this morning speaking to Stephen, and he has issues with how social housing is allocated, and that prompted a listener to send this in. I just caught the end of your chat earlier about social housing, Fran. I just think everything is unfair with regard to social housing. I have a full-time job and still I'm struggling. I'm a separated father of 4, 3 girls, 1 boy, from 11 down to 4. I rent a 1-bedroom apartment. 2 of my kids have been diagnosed with autism. When I have my kids over, my youngest sleeps in a cot bed in my living room. My 2 youngest girls sleep in a king-size bed, and my eldest sleeps in a fold-out bed while I sleep on the couch. I've been to the council, who have told me they can't do anything for me because I am over the threshold. After all my bills and maintenance, etc., I have 40 to 50 euro left before I buy food. Just wondering if you could put it out there for me. Some councillors might be listening and might be able to help. I'm based in North Tipperary, and you're more than welcome to give my number to any councillor that thinks that they can help me. And I'd rather not come on air to talk about this. Well, thank you very much indeed for that. And the local representatives tend to listen to us on a regular basis, so maybe somebody is listening who might be able to help you out where that is concerned. We're in Nina today, and Muriel, with our wellbeing slot, is in Clonmel. Good morning to you, Muriel.
Hey, Fran, how are you?
I'm well indeed, and good to talk to you today. You're going to talk to us about function movement. What exactly is that, Muriel?
So it's functional movement. That's literally, so it's everything that we do every day. So any movement we do every day that will mirror, say, like prepping your body for real life activities. Does that make sense? Like your quality of life, your independence, like daily tasks, like cleaning, shopping, getting dressed. Do you remember we had a conversation one of the days and I said to you, can you stand on one leg and put an underpants on or put your trousers on in the morning without holding on to anything?
I can barely stand in the first place. I would fail miserably, I guess, at that, Muriel.
Yeah, so that's what functional movement is. Like, as we get older, it's the independence to be able to stay doing things that we've been doing from a young age. So like your balance, your coordination, to prevent you falling, for injuries. Like, I talk about this a lot in clinic, Fran. Simple things like, you know, like your leg muscles. Like, if your toe drops as you get older, walking across the road, you mightn't even know that your toe has dropped, but you could clip a footpath. And if you fall, have you got the mobility to bring your hands up to actually save yourself? Or do you actually land on your face and your shoulder or something hits the ground? Do you have the strength? Do you know what I mean? Physical function as we get older combats the age-related muscle loss. You know, so there's so many things involved in it. And if you don't do this, your mental health actually suffers as well, because it does affect your mood and the cognitive side of things, you know. So that's what it's about. Functional movement is a word I would mention, I would think, 10 to 12 times every single day.
It's interesting. The problem, well, one of the problems would be we mightn't discover we have issues with functional movement until we fall, and that's going to put us in in a dodgy situation?
Well, that's the terrifying thing. So when I'm doing the plans I'm doing in clinic for people, and first of all we do the plan in relation to nutrition, etc. My next step then is, what are you actually doing? Do you need to use a chair for support? Can you actually stand up and out, in and out of a chair, like without putting your hands on something? Can you get off the toilet without putting your hands on something? Do you know what I mean? Can you get in and out of the car relatively free? If you can't do things like this, Fran, you are looking down the line at the mobility being reduced so much that you're using like a walking aid, or somebody has to help you. And that can even go to the next line of like, does it come to the stage that somebody's actually feeding you? If you fall, that's like much, much harder to bring yourself back from. And even people that are doing things now or need to have things done, like, you know, the knee operations and the hip operations.
Sure.
Where's their functional movement? Like, we need to even say something like rotation is what you use in your body to step into a bath. You know, how many people struggle to step into a bath, or even afraid, you know, as you move on? And it's even all of us, even me at my age now, I would hold on, whereas before it wouldn't even have caused me a thought to actually, you know, because I would be afraid of falling. So there are things like, even movements like, say, opening and shutting doors or drawers. I find as people get older, they can't, even to take the top off, you know, like a jam jar.
Yeah, sure.
That gets harder. So, like, these are things that you're talking about, walking, like climbing stairs. Can you actually climb the stairs? And even coming down the stairs, do you feel safe coming down the stairs? Do you know what I mean? Because, again, if you fall, you're in trouble. So that's what you're talking about. And there is even like, I won't say it's a movement, but there's a system, functional movement system, the functional movement skills. I don't know if you've ever heard of this. Great Cook. I would have done this years ago. So I qualified in strength and conditioning years and years ago. And we would have done a lot of this. You're supposed to start with kids from the age of 3, that you actually can grade and rank movement patterns that are key to normal function in everyday life. So it identifies asymmetries and limitations in kids from a very young age. So, like, you know, is there a hip issue? You know, like a shoulder issue, a core issue, that kind of thing. But it's not done as we get older. And I think it's definitely something that we should do. You know, the 7 basic movements in it. You know, the ones you'd always hear of, like push, pull, squat, lunge, hinge, rotate, these kinds of things. You know, and they're the 7 movements. And I think every single person should be put through them. And if they can't do them, then there should be a programme put in place to show you what to do.
And tell me about that programme. I mean, I guess that food is at the core of all of this, is it?
Not really, no. This for me is more on movement. So I'm not on the road of nutrition or whatever today.
No. But I mean, in terms of what we can do about it if we have issues with movement, Muriel.
Well, like, yes, your inflammation side is going to be huge, isn't it? So you have to keep inflammation at bay as much as you can. So if you're not eating right, you're definitely going to have a higher level of inflammation, so you're going to feel it. Like, say, a lot of farmers, listen, getting in and out of the tractor, are they able to get in and out of the tractor without feeling every single ache and pain? Can they jump out of it like they used to before? If their food isn't right, that's going to drive it. But on the other side, if they're not moving properly, what's causing that? Is it synovial fluid around a joint? Do you know what I mean? Is it coming from somewhere else? You know, and we even talk a lot, I would talk to people a lot about, say if I had a husband and wife team coming in, who does the most around the house even? Because, you know, as you get older and you retire, somebody does the jobs as in, like cleaning the house, you know, dusting, vacuuming, making up the beds, even things like a cup of tea. And I'd say, Fran, that's like light activity. So how much time do you spend on light activity a day? And then how much time do you actually spend sitting down every day? How much time do you spend lying down? Do you break up long periods of activity? Do you do anything that's like what we would call moderate activity? Now, I don't know in your world, Fran, you're in the dancing and all that kind of thing, but it's 150 minutes of moderate activity every single adult is supposed to do every week. Now, that's like 30 minutes a day. It can be done 2 15-minute increments. But you're supposed to do that you raise your heart rate enough that you can still talk, but you can't sing.
Right. So this is walking, dancing, well, whatever.
Yeah, anything, water aerobics, on a bike, walking up a hill, pushing a lawnmower, anything that your breath becomes a little faster and you feel a little warmer. Even if it was only at home, like that you're walking up and down the stairs, or you walk around the house fast enough outside that you actually get your heart rate up. That's considered moderate activity. Vigorous is the next one, as in you can talk for a minute, but you have to pause for a breath. You don't have to do vigorous activity, but you do have to do. We're actually prescribing now, would you believe, the moderate activity bit, Fran, like the 150 minutes, because people aren't getting it.
Right. If you've already done damage, though, Muriel, I mean, is that reversible in some way?
Totally. You can definitely build muscle even around injuries and that. But it has to be supervised. So there has to be physio, or there has to be a coach, or there has to be somebody that can actually put you on a programme that works. Like, I had a girl in yesterday and she has very high blood pressure. And she was talking me through the different things of what she was doing. So she's doing 2 Pilates sessions and 3 strength training sessions, right, a week. The strength training sessions are in a gym. Now, I've nothing against male, female, right, but she's with a young male coach. He has her doing over the head movements. He has her doing movements that she's out of breath, right? And when she's finished, I said to her, how do you feel? And she said, like I'm going to get sick. That's not a proper programme. If you have any injuries or any asymmetries or there's anything wrong within the body, your coach has to know how to deal with it, right? So like seated workouts, you can always support yourself. If you have any lower back or back issues, you can sit on any kind of a seat, make sure your back is supported, and you can use weights that are appropriate for you. You don't have to use heavy weights, Fran. You don't even have to use weights. You could use like 2 water bottles. You can use like, the resistance bands that come in all the different colours.
Sure. Yeah.
You can use the bands, and you can get the lightest band that just puts your body under some little bit of extra strain, and that's good. Do you know what I mean? So there's so many different modifications that we can do that it's never one size fits all in exercise. No matter who would come to me. When I worked in Sweden years and years ago, I worked in the gym, and the gym they had was marvellous. Every machine worked left and right side. So we'd loads of people coming in that would have had strokes and different things, so partially paralysed or whatever, one side. We were able to work on both sides, so it wasn't equal, but you could modify an exercise that you were able to do what that person needed for mobility and strength. And that's what it's about. You don't have to even become, 20 or 30% better. But if you don't even become 5% less than where you're at, isn't that even a good starting point?
When the likes of arthritis plays in to the functional movement, though, I mean, here we have a condition that is not reversible. So what do you do about something like that, Muriel?
It's really important that you're doing the smaller things, Fran. If you have a condition like arthritis, the number one is the reduce inflammation through the lifestyle side, as in the nutrition and everything, like your omegas and everything that we talk about all the time. Remove the processed foods and remove all the inflammatories and that. So you're driving down inflammation at every level. After that, you have to do little things every single day. So depending if it's the hands and that, you have to use things, like your little spongy balls and things like that you're actually keeping the mobility, keeping that piece in the hands, in the wrists, even things like simple things like your chair. If you're sitting down and you're at the table, you're having a cup of tea, how many times can you stand up and down out of the chair? Will you do it like for the count of 10? And if you have 5 cups of tea a day, do it every single time you sit down to have the cup of tea. That's 50 times. You are keeping the strength within the body so that you don't get too bad too fast. Do you know what I mean? If we don't use it, we lose it. That's the thing. So, and the biggest piece we're losing in that, Fran, is quality of life and independence. They're my 2 things. They're the 2 things that if you don't have it, your life becomes very, what should you say, hard, doesn't it?
It certainly does indeed, and it limits all the possibilities that are out there as well. The functional movement, I mean, it is age related, I guess, in some fashion. And as we go on, I suppose we have less functional movement. Is that not inevitable, though, Muriel?
Do you know what? It doesn't have to be inevitable, Fran. And it's not like age-related, but if you're looking at somebody from a very young age and their movement is bad, they're not moving in the right planes as they should, that's going to impinge all the way along. So, if you see somebody running, a child running, and you can actually see that there's an asymmetry already with their hip, where are they going to be by teenage years? Where are they going to be by 30 or 40 or 50? If this isn't picked up somewhere along the way. If children play sport, they have a better chance because things are picked up and you'll see them straight off and they'll be in with a physio, they'll be doing whatever. If they're not playing sport and they're more like art, music, whatever focused, that isn't picked up. So you're impinged very early on. The sooner you start doing it, the sooner you actually stop that functional movement piece winding back, if that makes sense. If you're the person that goes to work every day, your job is like sedentary, as in maybe you're driving a lorry, tractor, you're sitting down like I am in the clinic every day, and you don't do anything outside of that. So you go home, whatever, do your dinner, cook your dinner, and then you sit down. You're not doing anything. The body is made to move. We're given this wonderful opportunity to do so many different things, and we don't take the opportunities to actually make it work. Does that make sense? Like gardening, digging, shoveling, like the lawnmower, instead of being on a tractor lawnmower, washing the car. Like how many people like drive in through the car wash now? Cleaning the house, how many people have a cleaner? Do you know what I mean? Somebody to clean your chutes. We're not doing any of the simple things we would have done years ago. I remember seeing my husband's grandmother at 94 jumping up on the chair to actually take sugar or something out of the top press. Like, she jumped up onto the chair, and I was looking at her thinking, like, Christ almighty, I don't even know what I do that as quick as what she was after doing it.
Isn't it incredible? But when you told us about the woman who went to the gym, I guess we need to be careful as well that we don't overdo things, because, in fact, rather than helping, we might be making things worse.
You have to be very careful. And this is one of the things, even, and social media drives this, doesn't it? Like, you need to be in a gym, you need to be doing this, that and the other, whatever. Some of the time you don't. Supervision is excellent, like as in with somebody to actually give you a plan. You can follow the plan yourself for like a month or 2 months, and you can go back to the same person and they can update your plan. Something like that, but you have to go to a professional that knows what they're doing. You use your gut instinct. If it doesn't feel right to you, then you stop doing it. If you have any more pain, there's a difference between, say, a muscle soreness after doing an exercise that is creating a little bit of extra strength in that, and a pain.
Yes.
You should not have pain, and if your pain is increased after doing something, then that exercise isn't being done right. Like, you can do simple things yourself even without going to professional. Always stay supported, as in, like I said, the chair if you have a back issue, whatever. But simple things like calf raises, Fran. So say where you were sitting there in the studio, if you do like 20 calf raises, that increases circulation within the body, because the calf is one of the biggest muscles in the body. And that's very simple. If you do a sit to stand, so if you stand against the wall for support again, right? So you're literally just coming down into a sitting position and you slide your back up against the wall again. There's your squat straight away. Do 20 reps a day. And then your wall angel. And wall angel is so easy to do, but people don't do it. It's like if you stand up against the wall and you put your hands out, like, in a right angle or whatever. I'm doing it here now, you'll be smiling at me, right? But you put them out in a right angle. You literally bring the hands up over your head so they touch in the middle, and you bring them back down again. That's your spine mobility. That's relieving back and neck tension. That's your shoulder mobility. And they're very simple things to do, like. It's not outside the box. Anyone can do them, but we just don't take even the time. We just don't even think about it. And the other thing is, we do get very lazy. And there's no point not saying, like, that's, a spade's a spade. We do get lazier as we get older. We actually use the age thing as, well, I'm 50 now, well, I'm 60 now, I'm supposed to be like this. That's a total load of nonsense. You can keep yourself well if you practice every single day that these habits actually become the norm for you. Even carrying the shopping. Sometimes don't get, like, a basket. And, like, I keep saying it. I saw it again this morning. I was laughing. I was coming out of Dunn's after getting my chicken, and I was watching this girl. She went ahead of me, and she was going to pull into a parking spot, right? There's nothing against learners now, but there was a learner thing on the back of the car. It was a younger girl, right? So it was a younger girl, yeah, that's even the next thing, right? But she spotted a space closer to where the door was. So she put on her brake light straight away, and she went back up on top of me. And she couldn't come back on top of me because I was behind her, and there was a car behind me, and I wasn't going to back because I knew what she was at. So she had to do like nearly a 3-point turn to turn around to get into that parking space. I was looking at it and I was laughing, and I thought, holy God, where are we at?
I think she's a woman after my own heart. But anyway,
yeah.
If people want to talk to you or Charlotte or the team, Muriel, how can they do that?
Yeah, so it's 062, I nearly forgot, 062 88 002.
All right, great to talk to you, Muriel. Thanks very much indeed for that. That's Muriel Cuddy speaking to us this morning in our well-being slot. We are in Nina. We're going to take a break. Back in just a moment.
Tipp FM's Tipp Today.
With Slattery's Garage Puckon, now is the time to pick up your next van. From the award-winning Peugeot Partner van to the Expert and the load-lugging Boxer van. We have big vans, high-roof vans, long-wheelbase vans. You'll find them all at Slattery's Garage Puckon. See slatterysgarage.ie.